Okay, so Lindsay.
So Moby.
We have been away for a little while.
We took a little break, but we were very busy during our break.
So one of the reasons we took a break is because we were making our first movie.
Tessie,
which hopefully will be released next year.
Can't wait. It was so much fun to shoot. I'm just so excited to, well, see it ourselves because it's getting edited right now, so we haven't seen it. But I'm really excited to share what we shot with all of our friends and everybody who listens to this podcast.
And the moment that we finished shooting Tessie, I started the process that we're going to talk about today.
Do you want to say?
So, I am going on tour. We've talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, we all knew it was happening.
But when I mentioned I was going on tour and that there was going to be rehearsals and there's tour preparation, and when I mentioned rehearsals and tour prep, you expressed curiosity around what tour rehearsal and tour preparation meant. Like what's involved in getting ready to tour. Whereas for me, it's a really basic thing because I've done it hundreds of times over the last 30 some odd years.
Yeah, I mean, because, just fun fact about me, I've prepped many musicals for exhibition, but I've never prepped a tour like this because I am not a musician. So I was like, well, what do you do? Do you have to just do all your choreography and bedazzle your shirts? Or like, what is it?
And then I had to be the bearer of sad tidings and say, no. As disappointing as this is, there's no choreography.
No.
And probably for the best, there's no bedazzling.
I don't think that could ever be for the best. But,
I am just a disappointment, and I accept that. And
no.
That fact
I
every
feel
day of my
like
life.
Everyone has their strong traits, and maybe bedazzling and choreo are not yours.
Yeah, let's work with that.
Yeah.
So today we're just going to talk about what's actually involved in getting ready to go on tour. And I hope it's interesting because to me it seems potentially a little basic. But then I remember, as I said, I've spent 30 some odd years getting ready to go on tour. And so every part of it seems normal to me, but perhaps to you and hopefully to the people listening and watching, it will maybe be interesting. And also, we forgot to mention one thing, that as part of today's Fun Times tour preparation episode, we're going to go visit the rehearsal studio, meet the musicians, learn what everyone does, etc.
So one of the most interesting things I think about you going on tour is the fact that touring is not necessarily something that you love more than anything on this planet.
I love playing music. I love sitting in the backyard with our friends, eating vegan pizza, and playing old classic rock songs like Hotel California on acoustic guitar. Like, that's my ideal tour. Is like I leave my living room, I go outside, I have some vegan pizza, I play an Eagles song on acoustic guitar, and I go back inside and watch TV. Like, that to me is that's my perfect tour. Anything more than that makes me a little anxious. But
mostly it's the travel, right? Would you say it's the traveling and the hotels and stuff that makes it so hard for you?
Yeah, I don't want to complain, but I really like the simplicity and healthy nature of my life at home.
Yeah.
I love sleeping in my bed. I love having my daily smoothie. I love going hiking up the mountains. And when I go on tour, I don't get those things.
Yeah.
And I know that might sound really basic and pedestrian, but like, I don't know. Touring began to feel very repetitive to me. And the way that we might have talked about this, but the way I was convinced to do this tour is to give all the money to animal rights organizations. So that was the way my manager, Eric, tricked me into doing the tour because he knew I couldn't say no to that.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny that you'll do it only as long as you don't make $1. It's ridiculous. But also, I think
he could have sweetened the deal and said, okay, you give all the money to animal rights organizations and you have to sleep on the sidewalk in front of the venue while people kick you. I would have been like, you know what? Okay, you've just sweetened the deal.
What were those like religious people throughout history that would like wear hair shirts and like whip themselves to pray? I feel like you're a version of that.
There is a
modern version.
Well, but I do like comfort. I like sitting on a couch and enjoying 30 Rock.
Sure.
So I want to say Mendicants.
That could be it. It sounds right, but I don't know. Someone with Google will know. That's everyone.
Oh, there's an expression for when they do that, when they wear the hair shirts, when they beat themselves.
No, it's
It's too bad. It's a weird word. It's actually not a word you would expect.
Well, now I have to know. Sorry, Jonathan.
So, any case, while you're looking up what that is, we were talking about how, I'm not...
Flagellance.
It is self-flagellation, but there's another, the bigger process. That's the verb. Like
penitence.
It's penitence, but there's something else is going on. Like what's in case, there's a weird ecclesiastical word.
Oh, well, I don't know what that is, but. Yeah.
So, in any case, tour prep. And
something that I think is really interesting about this, and we'll get to like the music stuff later, but I do think that like the mental game of...
By the way, that's a cute sweater.
Thanks. Bagel has a matching one.
Oh, that's
but it's hot outside, so I didn't put her in it.
Okay.
Right, Big? So something I think is like the way that you're preparing yourself, because I know that you battle with insomnia.
Sleeping is not my strong suit. Okay, it's in the same bucket as choreography and bedazzling. In fact, I could even say I'm worse at sleeping than choreography and bedazzling, keeping in mind I'm terrible at choreography and bedazzling.
Yes, you are notoriously terrible at sleeping.
Yeah.
Your brain is like, you can't get me down.
If you've ever seen a squirrel who's gotten into a bag of amphetamines, that's your brain. Kind of what my brain does at night.
I know, because I'll wake up at I wake up relatively early at 6 a.m., but I'll wake up to like long text from you that I know you've been stewing on all night long. And I'm like, I'm sure Moby waited like 7 or 8 hours before he sent this to me, and it still came in at 5 a.m. So anyway, because you battle with sleep and insomnia, how are you preparing to like sleep? It's such a huge part of life and staying energetic to be able to get up there and perform every night. So you have a very specific plan.
Yeah. And it sounds insane, but it's deeply practical. So there's one time, I guess maybe 20 years ago, I was in Los Angeles and I was playing, I was DJing, I was playing raves. So as a result, I was staying up late, like staying up till like 3 or 4 in the morning. And I went from LA to the UK. And my time zone, my body clock, my circadian rhythm was set to Los Angeles. So when I was in the UK, I would sit in the hotel room until like from midnight to noon, not being tired. If you've ever seen the beginning of the movie Apocalypse Now, I felt like Martin Sheen in the beginning of Apocalypse Now, just losing my mind, not sleeping. And it was very few people, thankfully, have ever experienced true insomnia. And true insomnia is when days go by and you sit. Normally when someone says insomnia, they mean they've slept for 5 hours. True insomnia is what I experienced, which was 3 days of no sleep. And by the end of day 3, it's not pleasant.
Don't your like ears start bleeding or something?
You function wrong. Like you feel a weird heat, like your skin has a heat to it and the world feels dry and unpleasant and you can't think normally. Everything about it is unpleasant. And then finally, someone gave me a sleeping pill. I forget the type of sleeping pill, and it worked. And all of a sudden I slept.
And that changed you, that kind of reset you properly like you needed.
A few days of those sleeping pills, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned, that's my long-winded way of saying, here's what I've learned, is what I need to do in Los Angeles before going to Europe is pretend I'm on UK time in LA. And what that means is I wake up here at 2:30 in the morning. Because 2:30 in the morning here is 10:30 in the morning in the UK, which is still late in the UK. So ever since we finished shooting the movie, I've been waking up at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So when I get to the UK, I'll be ready. ish.
Wow.
I know it's so extreme. Yeah. The other nice aspect of that is the world is very quiet in Los Angeles at 2:30 in the morning. I'll go hiking at like 3:30 or 4. Oh,
Aren't you afraid the bears will get you?
less so bears, more so crazy people.
Oh.
Yeah, worry more about the crazy people than the bears.
Okay, well, that makes sense. We've talked about like the emotional, mental prep, but let's talk a little bit about the music side of things. So I know that this is the Play 25 tour, 25th anniversary of Play. So it's very play focused, the set list.
You know, that's what's weird. It isn't.
What on earth do you mean?
It's a greatest hits show. Meaning when I go to see, okay, maybe you're different. Maybe other people are different. But when I go to see a band or a musician, I want them to play the hits. You know, I want to hear my favorite songs. I don't really want to hear the songs I don't know.
They're more fun if you can sing along. Let's just be honest about that.
Especially if it's an older musician who's put out a bunch of records. Like if I go see, I've mentioned Duran Duran. If I go see Duran Duran and they say this is a new song, that's when I go get a bottle of water. You know, because you want to hear Hungry Like the Wolf and The Reflex and Girls on Film. Like I want the hits. And then there are these musicians who won't play their hits. I'm like, come on, you have hits. You have songs that people want to hear. It's songs that make people happy. Play them. Like the goal, why did I think that's not a real word? The goal of going on, I was like,
because you woke up at 2:30 this morning?
The goal of going on tour, apart from raising money for animal rights organizations, is to create something that the audience loves, that they enjoy, that they feel inspired by. And that involves hits. So really, it's a greatest hit show. And Play features prominently in it, but I'd say half the songs on the tour are from Play and half the songs are from other records.
Okay, that's really fun. So you decided how you put the set list together by just the hits, songs that had popularity.
Songs that over the years I've found out that people really like. Some obvious ones, just looking at like Spotify numbers, it's like, well, Porcelain, Extreme Ways, Why Does My Heart Feel So Bad?
You gotta have those.
Flower, and then some more obscure ones, but that people seem to really like When It's Cold, I'd Like to Die.
Mm-hmm. Stranger Things, Hello.
And Natural Blues. And so it's songs that quantitatively, qualitatively, I feel like people would like to hear.
That's great. So at some point you put together your set list and then and maybe I'm asking really basic questions.
No, I love basic questions because that indicates that what we're talking about might actually be interesting.
Okay, maybe, well, it is to me at least. So once you have your set list in mind, how do you figure out your band situation? Like how many singers? Do you have a keyboard, a bass? You chose to have strings. Like how did you decide what you needed for this specific tour?
I think part of it, it's the criteria is threefold. One, the musical aspect, which is in order to play the songs, who do I need on stage who's capable of playing them?
Right.
You know, if a song has strings, clearly I need string players. Oh, a song has drums, I need a drummer. Oh, the song has beautiful female vocals, I need women with beautiful voices. Mm-hmm. Oh, the songs have keyboards, I need a keyboard player, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's the basic criteria by which the band is compiled.
And then some of these people in the band you've worked with before, but some you haven't? Is there anyone that you haven't worked with before?
No, everybody, they're all friends. They're all people I've worked with before. So everybody on tour I've worked with before, either in the studio or playing shows or what have you. And then so the second, forgive me if this is vain or aesthetic. The second criteria is the visual component. I want, if you're putting people on stage, apart from me, they should look great. And so luckily, all of these talented musicians also look really good.
They're cool and they're beautiful and they're really good at singing.
Like when I remember one time going to see, I'm not going to name names, but I went to go see a musician I really like. and she had put together a band, and she looked amazing, like inspiring, glamorous, dramatic, and the band looked like dudes who'd walked in off the street. And I was like, by all means, look like a dude who's walked in off the street, but not on stage. Like if you're getting on stage in front of 20,000 people, make some, maybe not choreography or bedazzling.
But like a bedazzled vest might have changed your entire experience.
And so like the band I put together, they're great musicians, they're great vocalists, and they also look wonderful. And then the last selfish, most important criteria for me is how do I get along with these people? Because
you're going to be on the road with them.
It's only 10 days. But still, like I've toured with unpleasant people. I've toured with difficult people.
Name names.
I'm not going to name names. But I've toured with people who make other people's lives miserable. And you're on a bus with these people. You're backstage. You're on stage. Like you're with them 24 hours a day. And like if someone has a terrible attitude or if someone is entitled, it makes it really compromises the whole thing. I mean, if I had some very challenging experiences with that. So, great musicians who look great, who are also incredibly easy to get along with.
Yes, the band, and I can say this because, as mentioned, we are going to go to the rehearsal studio. But also, I've worked with all of these, the band members before too, and they are all amazing and so fun to watch. I'm so excited for everyone that gets to see them because they're very good. So you did a good job there. Your casting skills are phenomenal.
Thank you.
So then you provide them the set list, and I guess they just like, how do they learn the parts? Are there like, is there sheet music for everything?
So I write the chord structure. Obviously, like singers don't need chord structure. They just need lyrics and vocal melodies.
Yeah. But
Julie, the keyboard player, and our string section, and Jonathan, like they need chords. They need
sheet music, proper.
It's not. I don't make sheet music necessarily. Julie does. Julie's because she's the keyboard player, so she turns my chord structure into sheet music because she's such
amazing.
a little overachiever.
Oh.
So I go through and I write down the chords and the arrangement for the song, and I get them to the musicians, and they learn the songs on their own, and then we begin the process that we're trying to document today, which is the actual rehearsal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so impressed with the way that everyone showed up so prepared and so ready and so excited. And part of me thinks maybe we should go do that now. Go and watch rehearsal.
Let me think.
We've been talking so much about rehearsal.
Oh, we didn't talk about one thing.
What's that?
How I remember to play the songs.
See, I guess I just always assume it all just lives in there behind some dark little cobwebby door.
It does live in there being my brain, behind some cobwebby little door, which is not a euphemism for anything because I actually do have cobwebby little doors inside my brain. So, yeah, everything does live in there, but sometimes I have to remember. Like some songs are so simple, I can't forget them. Mm-hmm. You know, I do have some songs that are just like the song Go. I play percussion. So it's basically, I play percussion. Like
bongos? You bongo?
Congas. So there's not much to remember there. It's like, oh, the song plays and I play congas on top of it. Like that's pretty easy.
Whoa. Hold on. What's the difference between a bongo and a conga?
Bongos are little, congas are bigger.
Oh.
Bongos are about 10 inches deep. Congas are like 3 feet deep.
Wow. Fascinating.
Yeah. But then a song like Slipping Away is a very complicated structural song. Like
I never knew.
It might not sound complicated, but it's actually got different parts and different chords and different. So like it took me like 10 times playing it recently to try and remember how it's actually played.
That's fascinating. So basically you just have to like just practice. Practice all the songs and make sure you got them.
Yeah. And sometimes it's easy, but sometimes it's like weirdly, I don't think I write complicated songs, but some of them are more complicated than others.
Question. When you're performing a song on the stage, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about like the next lyric, or do you have like a kind of like emotional journey going on in your head that like gets the song into your body? Or do you just go on like, on autopilot? Like what happens in your brain holes?
Well, sometimes I'm thinking about how the song was written and how interesting it is to be playing a song in front of tens of thousands of people when the song was written by me alone in a loft in New York.
Yeah.
That's sometimes is interesting to think about. Sometimes I think about where I've been during, I mean, granted, all this sounds very self-involved, but like where I've been at times where I've played this song and also what was going on in my life. Like 2006, playing this song at a festival, 100,000 people, but I'm hungover and in such a weird, bad, different place. Or do you want to know why I don't allow myself to play video games?
Why?
Because the year is 1999 and I'm on tour in the United States, and my friend Pablo has brought a video game machine, Xbox or something.
Like an N64 or something?
Something on the bus.
Okay.
And with a copy of Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, God.
And so the band crew, we all started playing Grand Theft Auto on tour, and it became obsessive. And there was one night where I was on tour, I think in Phoenix, somewhere in the American Southwest, and I was on stage. And normally when I'm on stage, I love performing. I love the music. I love the emotion. I was on stage and all I wanted to do was finish the set so I could go back to the bus and play Grand Theft Auto.
Oh my gosh,
and
addictive.
Ever since that, I was like, this is bad. I also started having dreams about Grand Theft Auto.
Whoa.
Clearly, this speaks to the success of Grand Theft Auto, but I went cold turkey after that experience. Like if you're
No
on
more video
stage,
games.
you're playing in front of 10,000 people, you're trying to respect people's experience and you're trying to create this emotion, and in the back of your brain you're like, wow, I can't wait to get on the bus to play
Yeah,
a
that's
video
not
game.
good.
So
That's
from
not
that
ideal.
day forward, I've cut myself off from video games because and just as I'm addicted to alcohol and cocaine, I would be absolutely addicted to video games.
I see. I mean, it's a very addictive thing.
Bagel
You
wants
gotta
to come sit
here.
with you.
Do you want to come sit up here? Come on, you can do
So-
it. Come on, good girl. You got to stay present. You really got to stay present. Do you ever get nervous?
As we've discussed, you know me pretty well. Mm-hmm. There are lots of things in the world that make me nervous and uncomfortable, but nothing about touring does really. Which is
Nothing
weird.
about performing the shows does.
Oh yeah, touring. Like I get nervous about not sleeping.
Right.
But performing, no. I mean, I've had that experience where like I'll be standing on the side of the stage, getting ready to play for 75,000 people. I think we talked about this once before, but like, and I'm as calm as if I'm like sitting by a mountain stream. But put me in line at Whole Foods on a busy Friday and I have a panic attack.
Yeah.
Like, so Whole Foods, when it's busy, that's terrifying. Going to a party where I know a bunch of loudmouths are going to be talking at me, that makes me uncomfortable. Performing in front of 75,000 people, no, that's easy.
So it's like the inverse of most people on this planet.
I guess so.
I think so. Okay, do you think now is a good time to go?
I mean, it might have been a great time 10 minutes ago. I just, you gave me a chance to ramble on. So I just
Well, let's go. Let's go to the rehearsal studio and then you will show me how everything works on stage, and we'll even do some interviews with our band. So let's go to the rehearsal studio.
We've set the scene, middle of grimy Hollywood, the black box rehearsal studio where everybody from Taylor Swift to Ozzy Osbourne to Paul McCartney to Guns N' Roses to BTS to name it, they've rehearsed there.
We going.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just going to have some like basic tour questions, but feel free to go off. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'd love to.
So first of all, can you just tell everyone your name and what you're doing on the tour?
My name is Julie Mintz, and I'm playing keys and synths and singing background vocals on tour.
That's very, very fun. But you've done this before, haven't you, with Moby?
I have, yes. We did it for the Moby. What was it? The big show at the not the Wiltern, the Fonda.
Oh, the 3 shows there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that. You were really good.
Thank you.
Boy, do you know your stuff.
It's been a while, though.
Question, should we close those doors?
These don't pick up that much ambient noise.
They don't? Okay, maybe it's just distracting for me.
Moby, you got BTS?
What?
You got BTS?
Yeah.
Nice. I was really worried about that.
Okay.
Okay.
So, how do you feel about going on tour?
Okay, so I'm super excited. I am like very obsessive about packing and organization, so I'm really curious to see how we're gonna sleep on a bus and shower at the venues. And
You're
not
going to
have
shower at the venues?
Yeah, we don't have hotel rooms.
Is there no shower on the bus?
You don't shower on the bus.
You don't?
No, and you don't wash your face on the bus. You don't.
Can you
use
pee on there?
Yeah.
Only pee. Only
You
number
cannot
one.
number 2.
Correct.
No, I did know that, but you can't wash your face on the bus?
Well, I would say that if you're a girl or anyone that cares about hygiene, you would not use the water on the bus to cleanse any part of your body.
Oh my God. Okay. This is honestly very hot goss to me.
Right?
I did not know that.
I think we could do a whole podcast on like
tour
hygiene.
sanitation?
Yeah, tour hygiene and packing.
So what are you going to do at night to wash? You're going to have to do it all at the venues.
Yeah, so you take your day bag in, and then you do with all your toiletries, and then you get ready for bed in the venue.
Julie.
And then you walk from the venue to the bus in your jammies. Right,
the life
Moby?
of a performer.
Well,
Where are you going to shower,
Moby's
Moby?
clothes are his jammies.
No, I have jammies.
You have jammies. Oh, but see, Moby has a room on the bus, so he
And
can.
also, I have no pre-bed. My pre-bed ritual is floss and brush my teeth. That's it.
Right, he doesn't have to put like 5 beauty products on his
Jellies.
face.
5
And also,
face
he
jellies.
can change in his room. This might not be interesting to your listeners if they're not.
Well, I
women.
love it.
But if you're in a little bunk, how can you change into your jammies?
What are you going to do? Are you just going to get naked in front of everyone all the
No,
time?
you put your jammies on in the venue.
Oh, okay. So you just go to sleep as soon as you're on the bus.
Well, you can hang out in your jammies, I guess.
I guess. Okay, sorry. I'm just talking to Julie and I just love this conversation. It's really hard. Okay. So, next question.
Okay.
How have you been mentally preparing for tour?
Okay, so I've just been listening to the songs and practicing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I also have I'm learning some really big personal news while I'm on tour. Can I share that, Moby?
Sure. We
Okay.
shared it on social media, so it seems like it's out there.
Okay, so I'm going to find out if I'm going to be a mom when I'm on tour.
That's a very big deal.
My only chance to be a mom. So
Julie.
I know. So I
So
don't
it's
know
going to
if-
be a big onstage celebration.
I guess, or
No,
really
no.
sad. Well, I mean, I guess it could just be really good or bad. So
It's either feeling so real or why does my heart feel so bad?
yeah, might be sobbing during these open doors. I don't know, because
With
that song
joy.
always feels really like mournful to me.
Sobbing with joy. Because
Well,
that's the energy
hopefully,
we're
yes.
putting out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, we're trying to be
There's no
optimistics.
alternative. It's only
Yeah.
a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And how do you physically prepare? Like, I saw a video of Miley Cyrus running and singing at the same time, and I was like, is that what everybody does?
Good question. I have a walking pad, and I've just been walking for an hour while I sing. I don't run and sing.
Running in general is just not okay.
I'm not much of a runner. I know. I
Yeah.
mean,
Who is?
I don't know. Yeah.
Wild beasts. Is there anything that you're very, very excited about on this tour?
What am I most? I guess I'm most excited to see the crowds because I don't know. I just don't know what to expect. Like, I've never played a show in Europe, and I feel like they love Moby there, and I just want to see how big they're going to be. I want to see the venues. And
what if everyone is like crying and emotional, and they have signs that say, Julie, hi.
Oh, I was thinking like they're crying emotional, like for Moby.
Well, yeah, for you too.
Like he's a Beatle. That would be pretty cool.
But what if Moby's a Beatle and we didn't know? Are you a Beatle there?
Like a Kafka-esque Beatle.
Moby's a Kafka-esque. No. So on the bus, I've never been on a tour bus, but I've seen some videos of buses. How are you guys going to choose who goes in which bunk? Are you going for like a ceiling bunk? Are you going for a floor bunk? Like, how are you going to sort this out?
Oh shoot. Okay. Moby
just whispered floor bunk.
Changed everything for me because I've actually, I told you before, I'm very obsessive. So I've actually Googled and read a lot about it. And I think I did read that the top ones get hot, but I thought I might want a top one because I don't want people. The bottom one seems like people would be walking by you a lot. Moby, why is the floor the best?
Well, okay, from my perspective, it's just easy. Well, like if you have to wake up in the middle of the night, you just like roll out of bed, walk to the bathroom, get back in. So like middle or bottom would be my choice personally.
Okay.
Also,
I do have
about
to pee.
the physics of it, of like the top of the bus is just going to be going all over the place, but the bottom is closer to the ground. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. So when you've been performing before,
Okay.
like what are you thinking about when you're singing or playing? Like what is going through your head when you're up there and you're doing it?
Okay, well, a couple things. Well, a lot of times I am actually counting because I'm trying to keep track of where we are. Sometimes I get lost in it, which is nice. And then sometimes I try to actually, like when I performed with Moby at the Hollywood Bowl, I distinctly remember that I said to myself, just really take in this moment, just look out and appreciate this because this is probably a once in a lifetime opportunity, and just take in this memory and appreciate it.
That's really beautiful. And then if you could say anything to the people that you'll see when you're on tour, what would you say to them?
What would I say to them? I guess I would say I hope they have an amazing experience at the show, and thank you for coming to see Moby and us in turn. But, we're just the supporters.
The magic behind the Moby.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's great.
Hi. It's so weird to talk into a mic and not hear it in my ears. Or not hear it in the world.
To me, that's the weirdest thing in the world. I don't want to hear myself.
You're like,
But
please
it's probably
don't.
better if you can hear what you're doing.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, can you just say your name and what you're doing on this tour?
Okay. My name is Nadia Christine Duggan, and I am singing on this tour. Very excited.
It's very exciting. I was just listening to you guys rehearse, and oh my God, you sound freaking good.
Thank you.
Is this your first time touring with Moby?
It is my first time touring with Moby. It is. I'm jazzed.
Have you done a international tour before?
I have. Yes. I've toured a fair bit. I have toured a fair bit. It's been a while though since I've, been on like a bus tour. So I'm excited.
So
to
you know
just,
about that hashtag bus life?
Yeah, I do. That like rolling coffin bunk life.
Oh.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about going out on this tour?
I'm really excited. Especially like I feel like Moby's stuff, I get to use all the different parts of my voice that I love to use. Like I don't have to just like shift into this gear or shift into that gear. I feel like it gives me like a lot of artistic freedom that it's yummy.
That's
It's
very
yummy.
exciting.
She and Chocolate get to be rock stars.
And we get to be rock stars.
Moby just
We
said
do.
that Nadia and Chocolate get to be rock stars, but you guys actually are. I mean, it's very fun to watch what you guys do.
They go to the front of the stage. I stand in the background. I'm on the
Moby's calling
Moby's
himself a
just a
session
hired
musician
gun.
in the background. How do you mentally, physically prepare to go on tour?
Okay.
Because I know you've got an instrument.
Yes.
So you're not trying to mess with it.
Okay. Well, first, I mean, there's so many technical things that I do to take care of my voice. I mean, I can go on for days. Like,
What does that mean? Just staying warm, but also not using your voice?
No, I do use my voice. Actually, if I'm going to sing a lot, I need to make sure I'm singing every day and I'm using my voice every day. So if I have a tour coming up, I'm doing my warm-ups. I was doing my warm-ups every day this week just to make sure that the blood is flowing. Like, I do cool down. I'd warm up before the show. And one thing that's is a game changer for me is I do cool downs after the show.
What is a cool down?
So a cool down, for all the singers out there, it's like you just basically do the easiest warm up in your whatever you do to warm up. You just have to do an octave, so go like 5 rounds. And you just do that at the end of doing a hard gig. Because it's like if you run, you have to cool down.
Totally.
You have to stretch.
You get a
and
cramp
it's the same
if
thing.
you
Yeah,
don't.
you don't want to just like stop your instrument all of a sudden. So we're getting very technical.
No, it's amazing. It's fascinating because I don't know anything about that
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm passionate about vocal health for sure.
Well, it shows. Is there anything that you're especially excited about on this tour?
Oh, I mean, I'm really excited to sing In My Heart. I love that song because it's like really, not to get all cheesy, but like that's just how I feel, just like let me stay in my heart. Let me get out of my head. Let me get out of like all this stuff. Just let me be where it counts. So I love that song. And I don't know, I just get to get out of the way and, let music happen. I mean,
It makes me really excited to watch more rehearsals. Okay, let me ask you one incredibly important question that all the people want to know. How are you going to pick your bunk?
I'm pretty flexible. I probably shouldn't say this because we're like, okay, I can choose one. I'm kind of okay with anything.
Do you have a preference?
I don't.
Do you have a bunk you hate? You hate the bottom bunk? You hate the top bunk?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of my tours, I'm the smallest person, so I always end up on the top bunk. So I'm used to the top bunk.
Because it's harder for the bigger people to climb
get on up
the
there.
tall people up there.
Yeah. So, maybe just by virtue of like being used to it, I'm comfortable. I think I probably prefer the bottom bunk.
Because it's easier. You can just fall right into it.
Yeah. If you're like, and you like need to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, you just like,
oh yeah, the bathroom in the middle of the night, you have to climb all the way down.
You do. There's
That's one point against top bunk right there. Yikes.
Yeah.
Question.
Yes. Answer.
The moment before you're about to walk on stage, what's going on in your head?
Oh. Stay in my heart. Like really, like just stay in my heart. Just really is just let me get out of the way and just let me just stay in my heart, be present in the moment, connect with this group of people that are never going to gather like this again. This is like one beautiful, magical little family for a second. And, so just get out of the way and just enjoy it.
I love that.
Yeah.
When you are, whenever you're singing a song, do you ever get too emotional? You're like, what if I cry?
Gosh.
I can't cry because I have to be does that ever happen?
100%. When I did the last gig that I did, when we did the podcast gig, Almost Home, I had to reel it in. Like,
because you were getting emotional.
Because I was getting emotional and crying and singing. It's like crying and driving are not great together. You can't do it. So yeah, I have to just kind of like ground myself. It's a balance. And I mean, this is like another thing, like I've had to sing if you sing for somebody, if you sing for a wedding for someone you care about, if you sing for a funeral for someone you care about, just honoring someone you care about, like I've done that before. And, you just have to shift gears, but then you just like shift gears and then you just lose it after.
I mean,
Sorry to
whatever
get
you did, it sounded
morbid.
great. And then, so just one more question. If you could say anything to the people that you're performing for when you're on tour, what would you say to them?
Just thank you. Like, I'm just so grateful that we get to share time together and swim together. And, you know, I'm just really grateful. I'm really, really grateful. I think we're just going to have a great time and feed off each other. So, yeah.
Yay. Okay, thanks, Nadia. Just so you know, as we're having this conversation, Chocolate's dog, Cinnamon, and Bagel are having a kind of come to Jesus moment.
Kumbaya.
Okay, can you please say your name and what you're going to be doing on tour with Moby?
My name is Chocolate, and I am going to...
Can you hold this closer?
My name is Chocolate, and I am going to... I feel like I'm going to worship on stage with Moby and the crew. But I'm singing background vocals.
Background feels like... Because you're singing lead on a couple
parts. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be singing a couple lead parts as well.
It's it's beautiful.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited for everyone who gets to watch you do this. Is this your first time touring with Moby?
This is actually my first time touring with any artist in this capacity, like ever.
As a singer?
Ever, yeah. I don't accept background singing opportunities because I forget the lyrics to my own songs. So I've never accepted an opportunity like this, to be honest. But what I noticed and was able to kind of like take solace in with Moby is that he was like, I need you to just be you and do what you do in whatever way it comes to you. And thanks for coming. So there's a lot more, I feel like a lot more freedom artistically. Even though there's a lot of structure, I don't know. I just said yes, and I feel good that I did because it feels like a good fit. It's a good opportunity to give it another shot. I did it one time, long time ago, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. But this time feels really different. I feel like it feels like psychedelic church is the best way I can explain it. So I'm in love.
I mean... It really shows when you're up there.
Oh.
How do you feel about going out on this tour?
I've been out on tours of this magnitude before. I think for me, because it's been so long, and the group of people that I'm with, I'm more. My mind's really open. I just have a very open mind toward the experience. I know we're going to be traveling the countryside in a bus, and anytime you're that close to nature is good for just your nervous system and your mental health. And I'm excited about all of the things that are in place, the group of people specifically, the veganism, the Good Vibes tribe, like it's all there. It feels like it's going to be a retreat if I tell the truth about it.
That's kind of beautiful. When you're going on a tour, specifically this tour, how are you mentally, physically preparing for that?
I just throw up every day.
Just vomiting?
Yep. Just bleh.
Yep.
You wake up and have you ever been on a roller coaster and you're like tick, 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 and you get to the top and you're in the car and it's rocking back and forth, and then you're just like ka-kunk, and then everybody does what? They grab the bars. They're like, ah. I wake up every morning like, ah. That's what it feels like. But I like roller coasters, so it's fine.
That's
a juicy kind of scary.
So you're enjoying the ride.
Oh yeah.
Of all the emotions that are involved.
All of them, literally.
Is there anything that you are particularly excited about?
What am I particularly excited about? I feel like the most exciting thing is that I was not aware that I would be doing this in September 2024, in January 2024. And I think I found out about it somewhere around February or March. So I'm just enjoying the fact that I did not see it coming, and I just didn't see my career sort of, I don't know, getting all zhuzhed up into this space that it's in right now. And I think I'm just excited to be reminded of who I am artistically and creatively. It's been a while. I sort of forgot and focused on other things. I was like, I'm going to go be an adult. And I did that with all my heart and made great things happen in adulthood. And now music is really back, and it's all Moby's fault. Literally. But I'm so grateful because I'm really happy. I didn't realize how much I missed this. And so, yeah.
I have to ask you something very, very important.
Okay.
How are you going to pick your bunk on the bus?
You know, I'm a team player. I'm going to just like go toward whatever bunk calls to me.
Okay.
But I'm not I'll go wherever there is to go.
You're not going to fight somebody?
No, I don't. Is it a bed? Can I sleep in it? Like, I'm easy peasy, lemon squeezy for the most part. I won't sleep in the bathroom. But I mean, as long as that's not something I've got to tend with, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. A pacifist.
Yeah, well,
Living in acceptance.
Correct.
There we go.
Because what is resistance but an obstacle?
Yep.
So what is there to resist? For me, I feel like what I'm learning, I think more than anything right now in life, and specifically with this, is like the chips fall where they insist. So if you just get over it and let them, then you might find that you're enjoying the journey a lot more than if you try to control where the chips are falling, you know? So
Put that on a t-shirt.
there's that.
Do you have any pre-show rituals that you do? Or that you were thinking about doing?
Freak out.
Just freak out.
That has been my traditional pre-show ritual, but I think I'm going to develop a new one this time. I think what I'd like for my pre-show ritual to consist of is some group breathing and a deep meditation moment with my stage family, and I don't know, probably a stretch or two, something like that. Some self-care, some sort of like self-care regimen before we get on stage is what I'm feeling like is going to be the thing. I
Sounds
think
really nice.
it is. I'm a certified yoga meditation instructor, and so I intend to harass everyone with self-care moments regularly.
I love when
my
people
emo.
harass me to take care of myself. It
I'm
feels
gonna
nice.
be like you. Let's take a breath.
Yeah.
Now.
And then just finally, if you could say anything to the people that you'll be performing for on this tour,
Oh, wow.
what would you say to them?
I would say that wherever you find yourself in the music, to just embrace that moment. Like literally find yourself in the songs, find yourself in the music. And I think everyone that's there obviously are already fans of the music, but I wonder sometimes if people think about where they are in the songs that they love. And so I would say for everyone who's watching to find your literal space inside the songs that you love. Every song that you hear, find yourself inside of it. That's what I would do if I were in the stands.
That's a beautiful thing to say to people.
Oh, I hope it works.
Thank you, Chocolate.
Thank you.
Hi. Can you just say your name and what you're doing on tour with Moby?
My name is Andrea Whit. Oh, should I be looking this way or
just
at
look
you?
at me.
Okay. My name is Andrea Whit, and I am playing violin with Moby.
And I know you also play pedal steel, but
Yes.
there's no pedal steel on this tour.
There's none on this tour, but we did use pedal steel at the Masonic Temple in the shows we did in Hollywood.
Which is
in
so
May.
good. I mean, you were trying to show me how you play that thing, and it's crazy.
It's so fun. I'm going to miss it. It's staying home in Los Angeles. The steel.
Is this your first proper tour with Moby?
Yes, this is the first tour with Moby.
It's very exciting. Have you toured in Europe before?
I have. I did a 3-year world tour.
3 years?
3 year. Yeah, with Zucchero. And actually, Zucchero covered one of your songs, Moby. Yeah, I'll have
On
to
the
play it for
tour?
you. It's really well on his one of his latest albums. He's like the biggest rock star in Italy, and we had like a 13-piece band, and we hit 52 countries in 3 years.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
so I've seen a
intense.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
intense.
touring Europe is like it's way more fun than touring the U.S.
Really?
Oh my gosh, yes. You're on the bus and you wake up in a different country like every day.
It's not like, going to sleep in Wyoming and waking up in like Kansas.
Totally.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then the venues here in the US, so all like the big sheds, like the amphitheaters, everything. I just realized I took one earring out. I did that to play violin.
Purposeful and fun.
It looks like I did it on purpose.
It does.
Okay, cool. So, touring the sheds here in the US, they're kind of like in the middle of nowhere. So, if you're going to like, at a big amphitheater, like I did a big summer tour last year, there's nothing around. Mm-hmm. You're there and you're at the amphitheater, and like I bring my yoga mat and I'm just like, I don't even want what to do during the day. But in Europe, there's so many places you can go, and like everything's so close together. And you can just go explore every day.
So fun. Yes. How do you feel about going out on this tour?
Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't been to Europe in like 6 years. So this will be really, really fun. And actually some of the people I met on tour, on my last tour, are coming to some of our shows. So that'll be really exciting.
Yes. How do you feel about, how do you prepare mentally, physically for going on a tour like this?
Okay, mentally. Just clearing my mind to like practice and make space to like memorize the new music, all of this new music that we're learning. So mentally, and then also like just being prepared, like a checklist of everything I have to pack. I mean, there's so many different things you have to bring to Europe, and like the curling iron has to be able to convert from like 220 to 110. It's like all the little things so you don't like fry your hair off. And then physically preparing, I keep up. I have a trainer, I work out all the time, and I'm also vegan. So this is like, it's so exciting to be on a tour with a fellow vegan, because being on tour when you're the only vegan is difficult, especially if you're touring the US and like, they think vegan is like a turkey burger.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens all the time. So
yep. Been there. Chicken vegan. Is there anything in particular that you're excited about regarding this tour?
I am really excited to be on these big stages in front of like 20,000 people a night. So those shows have so much energy. And I like playing the really big shows or the really small, intimate shows. I think those are the most exciting for me. So that energy, and especially European audiences I feel like, I don't know, they get into it a little bit more. I don't know, I don't want to be like biased towards European audiences, but I feel like that whenever I'm there, I feel like a little bit more energy on stage.
Maybe a little less inhibited.
Yeah.
Here's a very important question.
Yeah.
How are you going to choose bunks on the bus?
Oh, well, it depends. Do we have a double-decker bus?
Do we have a double-decker bus? We do have a double-decker.
Okay. They're all double. Okay, so that means on the top level, it's all bunks, and there's only top and bottom. I'm going to claim a top bunk.
You want the top bunk?
Yeah.
Why do you want the top?
Well, normally if it's 3 up, I take the middle, because that's like an easy slide in. It's like, waist height and just crawl in. The bottom is like you have to just like crawl on the ground, and then you're just losing stuff in corners. And then the top, I have never even tried to get on the top one of a 3-tiered bunk. Like I'm not even doing that. I'm scared to fall out. But
I didn't even think about falling out.
Dude, people fall out of top bunks. It's a thing.
You hit a bump and you're on the floor.
I mean, it's not that intense, but like, if there's like something going on a little bit with the bus, like you could potentially fall off the top bunk.
Oh.
But the double-decker buses, since there's only 2 bunks, the top bunk like isn't that high off the ground.
Okay, great. Yeah. I'm now so worried about everyone on the top bunk of a 3-tiered bunk. Do you have any pre-show rituals that you do?
I like my matcha tea. Mm-hmm. So I like drinking matcha, and then honestly, like sometimes it's annoying to do a lot of hair and makeup. You're just like, I have to do this again. But kind of doing that process every day, that same routine of doing your hair and makeup, it's kind of,
you can use it to get you in the zone.
Yeah, it's like a meditation, kind of, just getting ready and feeling glamorous.
That's what Moby does. It's his glam time that really gets him in the headspace. Do you ever, because you're playing violin, which I feel like is such an emotional instrument. Do you ever cry a little bit? Have you ever cried a little bit?
Oh, I like on stage ever?
When you're playing an instrument on stage.
Honestly, I don't think I've cried listening to other people play music for sure, but I don't think I've ever cried myself while I've been playing.
Well, maybe this is the tour.
Maybe this is it.
Maybe this is the time. And then just one last thing. If you could, Okay, no, we're good. If we stress out, then they'll stress out. Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
If you could say anything to the people who you'll be performing for on the tour, what would you say to them?
Oh my gosh, just have a blast. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to make sure everyone is having an amazing time. You talking about the audience? Like, what would I tell them? Yeah. Just have fun. Have fun with us. And the more fun you're having, it comes back to us, and we have more fun, and then it bounces back. It's just, that's what it is. We're here to party. We're here to just make music and have a great time.
Yay! Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hi. Do you need that? No. Okay. Can you just say your name and what instrument you play?
And should I be looking at you?
Yeah, just look at me.
Great.
Yeah.
My name is Maya Pettis, and I play cello.
How long have you played the cello?
I've played cello since I was 10, so 14 years.
Wow. Yeah. Age reveal.
I know, it was kind of an age reveal.
This is your first time touring with Moby, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I remember, was your first time playing with Moby when we did the podcast?
Yes. Last year.
Yeah, last year's podcast that we did at Nadia House.
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was so special. I feel so grateful to have been a part of that too, especially now the songs being so developed and like there's a huge production, and being able to play like just cello and guitar with some of these huge hits was like so cool.
Yeah, it was really, really beautiful, those songs.
Yeah.
But now it's a whole other ball game.
Yeah, I'm on the electric cello.
Crazy
things going on. Yeah.
It's really exciting. Mm-hmm. Have you ever done a European tour before?
No, this is actually my first time going to Europe.
Going to Europe, period?
Yeah. I know.
That's really exciting.
I'm really excited.
Are you going to try to like get out and see some stuff while you're there?
Yes. Yeah. We were actually just talking about it. And Moby was suggesting that we try to like, see some stuff while we're there.
You should.
Time off. And I wish we had more time in Paris, but
I know.
It's okay. Or Berlin, because I'm half
any
German.
of those cities.
Yeah.
How do you feel about going out on this tour?
I'm really looking forward to it, and I feel like it's a lot of new experiences for me, especially being on like a bus and sleeping on the bus. I've only like slept in hotels on tour, so it'll be like a new experience that way, playing the stadiums, and also just like hopefully like meeting cool people, out there at the shows.
How do you prepare mentally and physically for something like this?
Yeah, I've been trying to like hone that in, especially the more time I have like in between tours. And I take time to like do stuff with my family and like feel like I'm in a good mindset to leave, which really helps. And like being with my instrument and like taking care of my health with like nutrient dense foods and sleep. I try to sleep a lot because I might not sleep on the bus. I'm not sure.
Because you've never had to sleep on a bus. Do you sleep well on like in cars or on planes and stuff?
No.
Uh-oh.
So we'll see. I think I'll be fine.
I think you're going to be fine. I think you'll be exhausted and you'll just...
Exactly.
You might also find that like sleeping on buses is your favorite.
It might reveal something that
you never knew. How could you know?
Exactly. I may have to be in a bus the rest of my life.
So I've been asking some of the other people how they're going to choose their bunk, but you don't even have a preconceived notion.
Well,
you have an idea.
I've been polling my friends because I'm like, which one do I choose? So apparently if you're down at the bottom, you feel the road and like the wheels. So that's like one thing. And you get more noise from the street or the whatever road you're on. If you're on the top, you feel more of when like the bus turns or like, you know, there's more like if there's a bump, you feel it a lot more on the top. So I guess the middle is the way to go.
Okay.
At least
I love that you're doing the research. You're like, you want to be prepared.
I'm trying to be prepared.
You don't want to have to ask someone to switch halfway through.
We'll see.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular that you're excited about this tour?
I love the music.
Yeah.
And Moby is such an icon, and being able to play such impactful music for a lot of people is really special. And I'm really excited to be a part of that on this tour.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you have pre-show rituals? Like, do you have to do some sort of like special finger stretch for cello playing?
You know, there's a whole bag of worms. There's a lot of stuff
there is?
I could do, and I choose to do like a fraction of it. But there's some things to like release tension in your arms. Like I'll put up my hand like this and like push down very slowly. It's supposed to like, ooh, I feel it now. You like release tension this way. Both hands. And usually I'll just like stretch my whole body and try to like work on my shifting and stuff, because you know when you're sweaty or you're cold, it's like your fingers feel different, so I just want them to feel nice and easy.
Is there something about playing a cello, because like when you're singing and you're looking out, that's a whole different thing, but like when you're in your world of the cello, do you ever like kind of get lost and forget where you are?
Yeah. Oh, all the time. Especially if I close my eyes, like then I really am like in it and in the sound and forget where I am, for sure.
That sounds kind of fun. Kind of trippy.
Really fun. Yeah. Maybe I'm addicted to that feeling.
Yeah. Well, there are worse things to be addicted to.
That's very true.
Okay. And then finally, I'll just say, if you could say anything to the people that will be at the shows on the tour, what would you say to them?
Sorry.
Cinnamon's just growling at my feet.
Yeah.
Hi, bud.
That's I feel like a big question. Just to be present, and that I think all of us are doing our best to give this music the best life that it deserves in this form that it's taking. There's a lot of like very cool, I think, maybe surprises, you know, twists to some of these songs that people haven't heard. And I think it'll be really special for people to be in the same space and hear and be in the moment with us. So, yeah.
I love that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
thanks, Maya. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Can you do me a huge favor and just say your name and what instrument you're playing on the tour?
I'm Trip Beam, and I'm playing drums.
And this is not your first time playing drums with Moby. Am I correct in saying that?
Been playing with him for, I think, about 11 years now.
Wow. And how do you feel about going out on this tour? This is your first like European tour with Moby, yeah?
Right, yeah.
Like multi-city tour.
Yeah. Great. I feel very excited and grateful that we're going to be going to all these places, and the shows are going to be pretty large, so I'm excited for that. And yeah.
How do you prepare mentally and physically for a tour like this?
So the main thing is for me is just knowing the music, getting the music down, which starts right when I receive it, you know, from the artist, and then past that it just comes down to like physically eating well, making sure I'm getting enough rest before we go out.
Is there anything about this tour that you're particularly excited about? Costumes.
I'm mainly excited about the venues because they're going to be, probably the biggest venues that I've ever played. So I'm really looking forward to that. Also looking forward, I guess, to being on a bus. It'll be my first time like in Europe on a bus. So.
And do you have bunk preferences?
I don't. I haven't even thought that far yet. But
you haven't thought about your bunk?
No, but it makes me think of when I was a kid and I would go stay at friends' houses. Like if I had a preference for them, if they had bunk beds, I think I would always say the top. But I don't know
how
if
does
that's
that
still
translate
the case,
to a
like,
bus?
Much later. What?
How would top bunk translate to a bus?
I don't know. I guess I'll find out. I don't know.
That's some physics I can't understand. Do you have any pre-show rituals? Like, do you have to do some sort of stretch, or do you do something weird that I can't even imagine?
I just stretch. I make sure my wrists are, somewhat warm, and I might, go through some like drum rudiments on a practice pad before to get my hands warmed up, but nothing too crazy.
Okay, just finally, if you could say anything to the people that are in the audience on this tour, what would you say to them?
I would just say, it's a celebration of the album, and just have fun. It's going to be a big party, I think, so.
That's great. Thank you, Trip. Second snaps.
Hey, Lindsay, how's it going?
Hi, Jonathan. This is a very exciting moment for anyone listening because we're interviewing Jonathan, who also is editing this podcast. So if any of this makes it in, it'll be a freaking miracle.
We'll see.
Okay, so can you just say your name and what you're doing on tour?
My name's Jonathan, and I am playing bass.
And are you doing anything else?
I'm also the music director. That just means I rehearse the band when Moby's not there. It's not that special.
I think it's pretty special. I mean, I wouldn't know how to do it. And how have you toured with Moby before?
Yeah, so me and Trip have been with Moby for about the same amount of time. So we did a little mini tour to New York City, and we did a little residency in LA, and then we've done a bunch of little one-offs. But then over the course of my career with Moby, I've got to tour manage for him, doing mostly just DJ stuff, which is really easy. So, but this is totally different. It's a lot more going on. A lot.
But how do you feel about it?
Pretty nervous. Yeah.
Why do you feel nervous?
There's just, it's a lot of unknowns. I haven't done, actually the most nervous I ever was, I ran playback because it's electronic music. So there's a lot of drum machines and samples that you have to trigger. And so the last tour, I had to run the playback rig, and that was the scariest thing. The first one. And then once it worked, then I was fine. So I think it's just a lot of unknown stuff with this one.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, live performances are a lot.
Yeah.
It's intense.
Yeah.
How do you, your prep for this tour is going to be different than anyone else's because you are so on the back end of putting all of it together. But aside from that, how do you prepare for a tour like this?
Besides prepare, so I prepared charts for the musicians so they know exactly how the arrangements go along with the way Moby wants it to go. I don't know. I actually joined a gym. And I've been spending 30 minutes on the cycle every day to try to
get that cardio up.
I'm 42 now. I'm not as thin or light as I used to be. So I'm trying to, make myself feel a little better.
Get that twinkle toes back.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're really excited about for this tour?
Yeah, well, I've never played big stadiums like that. That's really exciting. But also, at the end of the day, I like rehearsing as much as I like performing. I just like playing music with people. It's my favorite thing.
And it's going to be crowds, real audiences.
You know what? But crowds aren't the bigger the audience, the less intimidating it is, because like a crowd is a thing, whereas like playing for one person is terrifying, or a couple
the
of people.
scariest.
You know, it's like because you've auditioned too. Like auditions are terrifying, but like an audience, especially if you can't really see anybody's faces, it's just like a thing.
Do you have a bunk strategy?
You know, I heard all the other questions. Didn't think about it. I'm totally fine being on the top. It's fine. But I've slept on buses before too, so it's the.
So
the
you
top
know
will be
you
fine.
can. You're one of those people that can sleep anywhere though.
Yeah, I can sleep on a plane easier than my own bed because
That's insane. Okay, so then you have an advantage. Pre-show rituals.
Sound check, just line check, make sure everything's working. That's
just logistical.
Yeah, just make yeah.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And then, if you could say anything to the people in the audience on this tour.
Thanks for coming. You know. Oh, also, this Trip's the only one who mentioned the album, and so we should talk about Play 25. This is exciting. This album's been around for 25 years, and I really hope people get to hear these new iterations of these songs, because Moby's awesome, and they sound great.
I was just listening to rehearsal, and it sounds really good.
Moby did a really, really good job.
It sounds kind of crazy good, like the best I've ever heard some of these songs.
It's really good, yeah.
Okay, well, hell yeah. All right, thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Moby.
Hi, Linz.
So we are posed in positions that you can't see if you're listening to this, but trust me, they are cool.
Yeah, like ready for action.
Ready for action. So we are currently in the rehearsal space where the entire band is here rehearsing for the show, the upcoming tour. There's a bunch of stuff up here on the stage that is meant to resemble the stage from the touring stage, which is, you know, how you music people talk.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe you could show me around the stage, do a little stage tour.
Okay. So over here, this is Guitar Land.
What's in this box?
The guitar stuff for fixing guitars, tuning guitars, chewing gumming guitars.
Chewing gumming?
That's, I imagine, for just chewing gum.
Oh, it's just gum.
And then you've got this fancy, look at that strobe tuner. It's like Star Trek.
Look.
And when you sing, see, changing the tone.
Well, you're doing a lot of B's.
I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
So this is, and that's Bagel. Bagel, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi. I'm Raul, filling in for Skills. I'm not normally here, but yeah, this is Guitar Land.
Guitar Land, and these are the wireless things. That's the guitar.
That's a guitar.
Yep.
Guitar.
Thank you.
Wait,
And
this is all the wireless things for what?
everything's wireless. Well, almost everything's wireless. Like my guitar does not have a cable. It's wireless, so it goes through the air from there to there, and then it goes to both the monitor land and front of house that we're going to get to soon.
But what does this machine do that big machine doesn't do in the front?
They're two completely different things.
I know.
Okay.
But what? I don't understand.
One of these machines, this is an amp simulator.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, instead of bringing huge, you know when you see like pictures of Motley Crue on stage and they have walls of amplifiers?
Yeah.
Instead of that, we just have this one little box. So my guitar goes into that and it replicates that wall of amplifiers.
I see.
Perfectly. And it weighs like 5 pounds and much easier to bring around than a giant wall of amplifiers.
Yeah,
and
no, that makes a lot of sense.
So these little guys, little antennas, pick up
They're shooting out sound.
from my guitar.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
so cool.
And this is where Jonathan is, except he's also recording the sound right now. So let's pretend
Good
he's
job,
there.
Jonathan. What can't he
Hi,
do?
Jonathan. That's Jonathan's bass. It says Jaguar.
Uh-oh.
Jaguar. Jonathan, you're like Bagel with a leash. Yeah. Okay, and then here we are in Stringland. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves, even though I think you did in the interview time anyway?
I'm Andrea Whit.
I'm Maya Paredes.
And look at all this stuff, Lynn. So look at that crazy cello. Doesn't it look like the future?
It does. That is a future cello if I've ever seen one. It's just, so it doesn't have like the body on the outside. It's just a kind of a cello pole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks really,
and
really
look at
cool.
the violin. The violin's also from the future. It's like some future, like it's the Cantina Band violin.
Don't need no bodies for strings anymore. Why? String science.
Well, these are just they're electric instruments.
They're electric, so you don't have the reverberation. Wow.
And
okay.
then all these effects that make everything psychedelic and interesting.
How do you know? You just. How do you know what to do? How do you know?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you turn it on.
Do you tell everyone what kind of pedals they should push?
No, these I don't know what those pedals do, but I imagine they make things sound interesting.
Oh.
Delay and some verb.
Oh, I see.
Pretty and round and sparkly.
That's amazing.
Also, keep in mind, Linz, because they're not wearing microphones, we won't actually hear their responses.
Oh, right.
So just keep in mind when we're asking questions. So, yeah.
Yep. Oops.
My
My
then
bad.
we go over here to Trip.
Trip, our drummer. Hi,
Trip.
Trip.
And Linz, these are drums. Just
Well,
FYI.
okay, great. Those
Yep.
are really pretty drums. These drums they look like wood. They're pretty wood on the outside. They're so pretty.
I think they look like wood.
Are they really wood?
One assumes they are actually wood. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Are they, Trip?
They are, yeah, maple wood.
They're maple wood.
With,
Maple wood
Okay.
finished in walnut.
And
Hot
what's this?
damn.
Linz, you want to ask about the screen?
Yeah, so in front of you, Trip, there is like a plexiglass sort of shield. Why on earth
So
would
the-
you... So do you want to tell it or should I let Trip tell it?
Either way is fine.
I don't
Here.
know much about it, but from what I understand, it keeps the cymbals from bleeding into the vocal mics on stage. It keeps everything under control.
Because Linz,
It's
like
a mic
voice,
bleed
even like a
situation.
loud voice, is never going to be as loud as a cymbal.
Wow, so this is protecting the cymbal sound from going into the vocalist's microphones.
Because imagine the vocal microphone up there is recording, or not recording, but is amplifying the voice. And the voice is me going, in my dreams I'm laying, like a very quiet little voice. And then back here is Trip the drum monster hitting the cymbals as loud as he can. And my little vocal mic, which is supposed to pick up my delicate little voice, is in fact picking up.
And that's bad, so you got to put a plexiglass.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but look, he can see through, people can see
It
him,
looks
like
kind of cool.
It's a little bit fish tanky.
It looks like maybe Trip is a dangerous person who has to be kept in some sort of
animal from the Muppets.
Yeah, exactly. Like kept in a sort of Hannibal Lecter style
Yeah, like every now
enclosure.
and then we sort of like throw food over the top. And then we move over here to our friend Julie. Julie will have she'll have 3 or 4 keyboards on tour, but for the sake of rehearsal, she has 2. And also, hi Julie.
Hi. Hello.
And Julie also has a little good luck bunny here that Bagel was enjoying earlier.
Bagel did rip it off of Julie's
But
purse.
not in a mean way, more in just a sort of like she
just
wanted
kinda
to show
popped it off,
It's still
yeah.
got a little bit of moisture from Bagel saliva. But that's
Sorry about that.
No, it's such good luck.
Speaking of Bagel.
Where's Bagel? Bagel!
Oh, there she is.
Bagel!
Oh, she's just licking crumbs off the floor,
Oh.
I'm sure.
And what you might also notice here is Julie has an iPad that shows.
Would you like to see?
Do you want to? Can you spin
Yeah,
it
Erin,
around?
you should go look.
Yes.
See?
Oh.
Look, I can.
It's the music and all the songs.
Yeah.
I don't even have that. I don't even have that.
How do you keep track? Okay, Moby has made these arrangements very complicated. Some songs have like 2 different instrumental breaks and they come at weird points.
Not intentionally complicated. I don't know.
One song has an instrumental break after the first chorus.
Which one? There is a song that does that?
I'll tell you. Go. Piano solo.
But Go doesn't really have a chorus either. Go's just
Wait,
like
no,
a.
no, no.
Why does my
Okay.
heart feel so bad? Does too.
Oh.
Wait, there's one where the piano solo is after the first chorus.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, in any case,
I've never written
apparently I write complicated arrangements. So I'm sorry, Julie. I apologize.
I have little notes to keep me on track.
Okay. So now we're going to walk over to Singing Land.
Okay. Well, Julie's also Singing Land.
Julie's
But she's a separate part of
Julie
Singing
is a
Land.
multi-hyphenate. She's playing keyboard, she's singing, maybe even play guitar.
She's sorting out complicated mathematical musical things.
Yeah.
She's the resident fairy.
Yeah. And then over here we have Nadia and Chocolate.
Yay.
And Chocolate, I realized I never quite know how to pronounce your name.
Chocolate?
Okay, there you go. Chocolate.
Pronounced like
the K,
chocolate?
I'm like, I always want to give it extra emphasis on like chocolate.
I'm a hip hop kid, and when I came out, you didn't spell things correctly in hip
Yeah.
hop. So
Okay.
my first name starts with a K as well, so there's that.
Okay.
There's that.
So,
That's Nadia's pronunciation?
Nadia or Nadia? You just said Nadia.
Nadia.
I say Nadia.
The thing is, I think it's just the Canadian accent. I do, because like,
Not nah.
yeah, I say. Oh, see, now I have to like actually think about it.
Because you say babe
I say Nadia.
Nadia.
instead of
I say
bag.
Nadia. Do I say? And
Instead of nah.
Nadia.
I say Nadia. But if someone says Nadia, I don't even hear the difference. I really
oh,
don't.
gosh.
So it's an accidental pronunciation. It's not like you're from someplace in the world we've never heard of. Like you're not like from San Sebastian. You're like, oh, in San Sebastian they always say Nadia. That's how you pronounce my name.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so Lindsay, we're also we have to rehearse in a second.
Yeah, but I have some questions.
Okay.
And I think, okay, so I see everybody wearing these earpieces, and I don't fully understand. Does everyone hear the same thing in their earpieces?
So here's the way music used to exist.
Okay.
There used to be monitors on stage. And so when you had a band, because if the band's far away, like we're playing big venues at big stages, so like the drums are here and the strings are way over there and the vocals are way over here. So like they wouldn't hear the strings. So the strings are mic'd or going through an amplifier that then goes to monitor land, which we're going to visit in a second.
Okay.
And then the monitor land sends a mix to every individual. It used to be through speakers, but the speakers were loud. So now it goes into these tiny little perfect headphones.
I see.
So these are perfect headphones so everyone can hear both themselves and what the other musicians are doing.
Whoa, that is magical.
And they're shaped to fit.
Do you have to get them custom made, these earpieces?
Both. There's custom and then there's non-custom.
Whoa. That's so cool.
Yeah, the custom ones are. What did you guys get custom ones done? I have custom. You know when they put the thing in your ear
What do? They put like a mold in there?
for like 5 minutes. They put this mold in,
Do they do both ears at the same time?
and it lets no sound through. So for 5 minutes, you're in a state of complete deafness.
Whoa, it's
Like-
like a sensory deprivation.
Yeah.
It's like a little ice cream. They swirl it into your ear. And
Does it feel kind of good?
I like it. But yeah, it's so. And then you have your little in-ears, and they block out almost all the sound. So someone can be talking to you from 2 feet away, and you won't hear them.
Uh-oh, Bagel's trying to pull the furry mic part off of her mic.
Bagel, she got scared of it. Oh, she's freaked out. What is this monster? Bagel, is that a monster? Bagel, is that a monster? Okay, so now
let's go to
move
your
over
land.
to my land, and we're going to end with the funnest part.
Okay.
So here's a guitar.
Oh no, Bagel took part of your camera. Bagel, what did you get?
Bagel, did you get a
Did you
monster?
get the mic cover?
Wow, thank you for sharing
Wow,
and
you got her
showing it.
microphone cover. That's really cool.
Bagel.
What do you call that? It looks
It's a windsock.
it looks like Bagel just stole a merkin.
Yeah. Okay. So Linz.
Yeah.
So here's the guitar. That's a guitar.
The wireless guitar, which I know
Wireless
about
guitar.
from before.
There's my keyboard for banging on. I don't really play it that much. I just kind of hit it.
You have a lot of picks here. Are you afraid you'll lose a pick?
You lose them all the time.
Really? Because
Because
they're
you're on
so.
stage and you're sweating and you drop them.
Do you ever
and-
think about getting some sort of device that ties it to your hand, so if you drop it, like those elastic holders, or you just rather would keep a bunch?
Yeah, I'd rather just keep a bunch.
Okay, cool.
So keyboard, tuner, my microphone, and then here's the fun thing. You said you wanted to learn how to play congas. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's
Here, I'll hold your mic, and so your mic can hear congas.
Okay, so here let's pretend It's just simply like.
Wow. You really are the king of bongos. Okay, hold on. Will you hold this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Here, there are two of them. So why don't you play one and I'll play the other? Julie, can I ask you a favor? Or Jonathan, you can do it. Hold on, Jonathan can. Okay, so you can play the. Oh, no, okay, you just go to start.
Okay.
Sorry, I screwed you up a little. I was trying some.
Oh.
Okay, no, I won't do it again.
Should I do something different?
Sure. Yeah, do anything
Is
here.
this fun? Better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay, so now, very quickly, because we have to rehearse, let's go back over here. And then we're
sorry.
We're gonna quickly meet everybody. Hi, and please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm NJ.
Hi, NJ. And this, so a lot of what we're doing, like the electronic stuff, I recorded at my studio, and we now have on the computer here. And so NJ is the computer whiz who's using Ableton to basically play the electronic stuff that live musicians can't do.
Wow, that's really cool.
Like you notice Trip the drummer, but Trip's playing, as you mentioned, wooden drums. But if we want electronic drums, they have to come from the computer.
Whoa.
And we have the live strings, but if you want to have synthetic, like synth strings, they have to come from the computer. So basically, we're augmenting what we do with NJ's computer.
That's amazing. That's really intense.
Yeah.
Oh, pushing that button at the right time.
100%, yeah. And also, like, it keeps people... Oh, yeah. Also, like, we have clicks and we send out cues for people. So, like, stuff that you won't even hear on stage just to keep context of arrangements and stuff. So it's a really dope program.
When you say clicks, so this is something I didn't know about, was you guys are all hearing, like, clicks to the beat up there?
To start the song. So it's like from the computer with NJ is basically both a click and a person's voice saying 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's when the song starts. But no one in the audience would hear that. That's just so we know when the song's starting.
That's really cool. Secrets. Yeah. All these secrets.
And then over here is Monitor World. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
So, Erin, do you want to come around? Because this is very complicated.
There are so many buttons.
And
Quite a few of them, yeah.
Yep. And so Monitor World is basically, you were talking earlier about the in-ear monitors everyone wears.
Yeah.
This sends individual, because it's all computerized, it sends individual monitor mixes of the music to each person on stage. So
Are these all the individual people? I'm looking at a screen with all of these different like rows.
These are the inputs.
Give Matt the mic.
It's gonna get it. Also, just the caveat being, for a full explanation, it'd be very complicated. So it's sort of
not a full explanation.
Yeah, these are just basically all of the mics on stage, and then these are all of the people. So if we go up here, you have Moby's mix right here, and he gets however much he wants of each individual thing, and everybody's got.
And Lindsay, are you noticing that the
one.
faders are all moving automatically?
So
that's the
physical faders move every time you push a button, and it's the cool. It's like there's a ghost in there.
Yeah,
that's so cool. I feel like I'm suddenly from like the 1800s where I don't understand how. It's amazing.
It's kind of amazing because every person, potentially for every song, like if you're a very complicated band or singer, every song would have its own mix set up, and so he would be pushing the button and adjusting it for every single song.
Whoa!
But if you imagine 20 people on stage, all 20 of them could have individual ones.
That's insane.
Yeah, complicated.
This is better.
Okay, now we have one last one last person to go visit,
Okay.
and then it's back.
This
to
is the one.
rehearsing.
This is the one that I understand absolutely. Well, the monitors I can't even fathom.
Okay.
But also,
Hi.
this is the part where I just have no
Okay,
idea what's
JP.
going on.
So we're going to meet our friend John Pennington. So John Pennington and I, the first time we played a show together was 30 years ago.
That's such a long time ago.
And in addition to being a technical, so JP does front of house, which means
Meaning?
this is what the audience hears. JP controls every single thing that the audience hears.
That's a lot of pressure, JP.
Do you want to do you want to come around and get the screen? Because I mean, this is Starship Enterprise land.
Just listening to a track from back in the day.
It's one of my old rave songs. Oh yeah. I mean, when you rob it down, right.
Wow.
And yeah, so JP, in addition to running the Starship Enterprise here, is also very funny. So JP, be funny.
Whoa, did
There
not
you
see
go.
that coming.
Yeah. Comedy
The
gold.
element of surprise. That's where you really get them.
I'm trying to think. There was one time we were in the north of Finland. We had played a festival. We were on the bus on the way to one of the many airports. It was probably like 6 a.m. And out of nowhere, you started singing songs from a band called the Wurzels.
You remember that?
So like we're completely asleep and like so tired, hungover, sick in the bus, exhausted, and all of a sudden JP at the top of his lungs goes, "I am a cider drinker. I drinks it all the time." What's the cider drinker?
I can't even remember the song.
Oh, there was another Wurzel song.
No, I am a cider drinker. Something.
It sounds like a great tune.
Yeah, it was back in the day.
So, but especially the context, it's 6 o'clock in the morning and you're hungover and you're exhausted and you're sick and you're asleep. And then JP starts screaming at the top of his lungs, West Country Wurzel songs.
Yeah, had to be there.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good tour story. Did you? Because I feel like you guys have seen so many versions of each other. I'm sure throughout the years as well.
Also, especially like, for example, like the Animal Rights tour, opening up for Soundgarden, getting booed off stage most nights.
Wait, what?
And then like we did our own Animal Rights punk rock tour, playing to an average of about 20 people a night. And then like the Play tour started, same thing, playing like 30 people a night, 100 people a night. But then all of a sudden we're playing festivals to 100,000 people and arenas and stadiums. And so it was a lot of ups and downs.
Well, I'm now mad at all those Soundgarden fans who booed you.
Well, they were more indifferent rather than contemptuous.
Okay, well
the
that's...
most fun though, I would say the most fun was the summer of 1995 when we did Lollapalooza.
Yeah, that was fun. Beck.
Pavement, Hole, Cypress Hill.
Order. No, were they on that?
No, they were on Area 1.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Coolio.
Ooh, Coolio.
And, Sonic Youth. So that was a really
Why was it so fun?
Because it was like for me personally, the first time I'd ever done that type of thing. Like I'd played little raves, I'd played little concerts.
But it was
and
your
bars.
first like massive festival.
Like it was all of a sudden like we were on tour. I'd never been on a tour bus before, really. It was like and it was summer, it was warm, it was indie rock at its best, from Sonic Youth to Beck. So it's just really nice.
That does sound really, really, really fun. Yeah. Do they have good snacks?
I mean, I would just go to the local Whole Foods and get like bread and peanut butter and jam. So
nothing's changed.
Yeah, nothing has changed. Okay, so it's back to rehearsal time.
Okay, they're gonna go back in rehearsal, and I'm going to watch and get our own little private show.
Okay, so Lindsay, did you enjoy your trip to the rehearsal studio?
I have to say I did, and I also have to say that whole time I thought I was playing bongos, and here I am learning I was actually playing congas the whole time. I'm mortified.
So I have a question. Did you guys, maybe, I don't know if you did you document Bagel running around?
I don't know if we got any footage of that. We did
okay.
a little bit of it, but but boy, did she love running around in that big carpet.
Because I guarantee you the happiest moment of the entire tour for me will be watching Bagel running around in this giant carpet space.
She had the best time. She was having so much fun, right, Bagel? And then remember when she tore the, what do you call that? The muffler?
When you're putting, it's called a windsock or a windscreen, is to protect the microphone from wind. You put this furry thing on top of the microphone and it looks kind of like a forest creature.
Like a little tiny baby stuffed goat.
And we were doing an interview yesterday and Bagel ran over and didn't attack the tiny forest creature microphone cover, but almost wanted to adopt it. Like grabbed it.
She loved it.
And
It looked like a
ran around with
merkin.
it.
Yeah, she was just running around with it. It was so funny. And then she wouldn't give it back to the camera person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. Good job, Bagel. You really entertained us. Okay.
So before we say goodbye.
Well, I still have some more questions. I'm
Okay,
not ready
great.
to say goodbye yet.
Okay, I'm never ready to say goodbye.
Okay, so something I wanted to ask you about that I haven't had a chance to was if you have any, when you're backstage, do you have any like rituals that you do? Do you know what I mean? Do you have to like juggle for 3 minutes? Do you have to like say a little prayer? Do you have to high five everyone? Do you have to like, what do you do?
Okay. Boy, a lot of people have amazing backstage rituals.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. I stretch. That's it. I do a calf stretch. I do a little hamstring stretch. I do some arm stretches, wrist stretches, just simple middle-aged guy stretching. Sorry, what a disappointing answer I have.
Can you make something up really quick that we'll all know isn't real, but just go for it?
Okay, so a few years ago, it was revealed to me that the truth of the universe is controlled by a crystalline vortex that actually has a name of Claritu.
Okay.
And so I have to do some sort of like homage and sacrifice to Claritu before going on stage.
Okay.
And so it usually involves some combination of like animate and inanimate matter. So I'm backstage and I have to be in a completely windowless dark room. And I make this offering to Claritu.
What do you do? You gotta stab a banana?
I can't really go into the details of it, but because some of them, by conventional mores and standards, aren't technically legal. But that's a big part of my pre-show ritual is making this offering, which again, the man steps in and says, "Oh, you're killing people," but I don't see it that way. I just see it as part of a continuum of life.
Yeah. What was it called? Claritu?
Sure.
Yeah. That sounds beautiful. Okay, that was a really good fake pre-show ritual. Thank you. I'm sure there's someone out there that does a version of that. Okay, here's another question I have. Do you have a writer? Like, you know how Mariah Carey is like, I have to have, fancy champagne that costs $10,000 and only green M&Ms or something like that?
Yes. It sounded like you said writer, but you mean rider, R-I-D-E-R.
Yeah.
So basically, okay, so as a vegan who tries to be healthy, I have the sort of backstage rider that like country western musicians would ridicule me for. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay. Because I just wrote it down recently and sent it through. 1 yoga mat.
Okay.
Some weights. Either a Vitamix or a Breville blender.
Okay.
And then the following.
Oh, God.
Or all organic and vegan. Red cabbage, oranges, carrots, a combination of dark leafy greens, mixed berries, dates, and red or black grapes. That's for smoothies.
Okay.
Then clean water in glass bottles.
Clean water?
Clean, as in like clear, good water, like not tap water.
Okay. Like filtered or spring water.
Yeah. And then obviously organic, vegan, whole grain bread, nut butter with no ingredients other than nuts, and unsweetened berry jam or compote. And then lastly, organic green or white tea with no additional flavoring.
Oh, boring.
I know. There was a time pre-sobriety, maybe you'll appreciate this. Pre-sobriety, I had a very similar rider. It was a very healthy rider, but I also was a drunk. So I had vodka on the menu. So I would make healthy smoothies.
With vodka in them?
With vodka in them.
Oh my gosh.
I will say, like, some of the smoothies with vodka were quite delicious.
I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
That's very, very funny.
Yeah.
So now it's the same thing, just minus the vodka.
It's very similar minus the vodka, yeah.
That's amazing. I'm sure on some level it really counteracted the vodka, like now in your life. You know,
I have sometimes struggled to remember things and string sentences together. But
yeah,
I
but
feel
me
like
too. I think that's a normal thing. Sometimes there's too much happening.
Too much brains happening.
Yeah, too many brains in there. And then, when you're going to a non-English speaking location, do you ever like try to learn the language just a little bit, or is it too daunting when you're also trying to remember songs and keep?
I mean, in some places, I know I can get by a little bit with call it like stage language. I can also apologize for not speaking the local language.
Yeah.
Like in France, I'll say, what will I say? Excusez-moi, mais je ne parle pas français très bien.
That's sweet. I'm sure they understand.
Yeah. And then I know how to say, like, cette prochaine chanson s'appelle, which means this next song is called blank.
Oh, that's good. There you
Spain, go. I can do Spain, Central America, South America, I can do a little bit better because I speak Spanish more.
Okay, good.
But then other places like Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Scandinavia, most people speak English very well. So I don't speak those languages. So I am at a loss. The Romance languages I can sort of do. And then in Russia, I can say spasibo. It means thank you.
Oh, okay, you said that to me earlier and I was like,
yeah.
I don't. There's so many things this could be and I will never understand it. Here's another question.
Oh, you want to hear one funny little language story?
Of course.
I might have told this before, but I am an elderly man and I tell the same stories over and over again. So one time I was playing a small show in Scotland. And I'm sure I've told this story because it was so funny. And this man was yelling at me from the audience. And I was like, is he mad at me? And he's going, Moby, blow it. I was like, what? He goes, the blow it. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying. And then the audience, we're in Glasgow, they all started yelling at with their Glaswegian accent. So imagine a couple hundred people yelling that at you. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying. Can anyone translate Glaswegian for me? And someone got up on stage and said, oh, they're saying you're brilliant. So Moby, you're brilliant was Moby, you're brilliant. Moby, you're brilliant. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Like the way you were yelling it, I thought you were going to come stab me in the face. But turns out they were being nice.
That's adorable and really funny. Yeah. Aw. Sweet misunderstood.
Glaswegians.
I never knew that's what you called them.
Maybe you don't.
Do you have like a thing about touring that is the most surprising thing that most people would never ever know?
Oh, surprising thing about touring. The thing that comes to mind, well, first off, one thing logistically is I remember I was on tour with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the Flaming Lips in 1995. Mm-hmm. And of course, the Chili Peppers were the headliners. And they did something I had never seen done before. I didn't know any venue in the world could do this.
What?
They drove from the hotel to the stage, meaning their limo dropped them off. Because the venues were so big, you could drive cars inside the venues. Up until this point, I'd only ever seen like small venues. I didn't know there was a venue in the world that could fit a car in the venue. Wow. So their limo, like security would come out, make sure no one approached them, and the limo would drive up to the side of the stage, and someone would open the door, and the Chili Peppers would get out of the limo right by the stairs that went up to the stage.
That is wild.
And I was like, wow, maybe
the fanciest.
Insane. Yeah. But so one thing people might not be aware of is the baffling contrast between being on stage and being by yourself in a dressing room. It's really, it used to really psychologically, it might be one of the reasons why I love drinking and doing drugs so much. Also, I'm an alcoholic and an addict. But you'd be on stage sometimes with, like, okay, if you're in the audience, you walk into the venue with 50,000 people. You're there with 50,000 people. When the show ends, you leave with 50,000 people. If you're the musician, you're by yourself in a windowless room that's completely quiet. You're escorted to the stage, and all of a sudden you're in front of 50,000 people, and it's the loudest, most crazy thing in the world. Then 2 seconds later, you're back in a windowless room. And there's this moment of, like, your brain starts asking you this question, was that real? Like, how in the world was I just in front of 50,000 people, and now I'm by myself and it's quiet?
Weird.
Like, it's this
ringing ears and
weird,
just like,
this weird cognitive dissonance of, like, which was real? Is this real or was that real? How is there a universe where both facts are real?
I also feel like there's something so deeply beautiful and amazing, but bizarre about so many people looking at you, watching you, taking you in. Like, I feel like that's such a, it's so bizarre, I think, for the human brain to feel so seen, so very witnessed by so many people that you don't know.
I mean, it definitely contributes to public figure and musician entitlement, narcissism, solipsism.
Yeah.
Because in the ye olden days, the only time that would happen is if you were a deity.
Right.
You know, or Napoleon. But even Napoleon would rarely stand in front of 50,000 people having them cheer for hours that they loved him. Like,
right.
So there's a reason why musicians do tend to disappear into their own little narcissistic brains.
Yeah.
It's also possibly why I like going hiking in the mountains so much, because the indifference of nature, the indifference of the mountains is the exact opposite of that. And it's really calming.
The indifference of the mountains.
Yeah, it's
the Moby story.
The name of my herbal tea.
Okay, and then just to kind of like wrap things up here, I'll do it the same way I did for the musicians when we were talking to them, is if you could say anything to the people that are coming to see the shows, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say to the people who are coming to the shows, one, thank you, because your money is going to animal rights organizations. So thank you for that. Two, having been an audience member many times, my goal as a musician is to put something on stage that really respects the audience and acknowledges the effort that they've made.
Yeah.
You know, people have spent a lot of money. They've made a big effort to go to this show. I want it to be great for them, you know, not for me. I mean, it's nice if I have a nice time, but as we mentioned, I'm happy singing Neil Young songs in my backyard. So putting something on stage that the audience really feels uplifted by. So, because it's a big deal, like for someone to buy an expensive ticket and to travel and to park and to do, you know, buy a t-shirt, like it's a big outlay of time and money. And I feel like it's incumbent upon musicians to acknowledge and respect and sort of revere that.
Yeah. I think that's so fascinating to think about.
Because we've all been on the receiving end of musicians who clearly don't respect the audience.
Yeah.
And you're like, why am I here? Why did I make the effort? Why did I buy the ticket? Like, you're ignoring the audience and you're playing songs no one really wants to hear. Like, well, why are we here?
Yeah. Well, as someone who's seen the rehearsals without even the lights and the shiny things, it's pretty fun. And I'm really excited for all the people that get to see it.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Should we say, I was going to say goodbye in a different language, but let's say goodbye.
Au revoir.
Oh, no, please. Never again.
Playing that on a loop. Okay. No, we can say thanks and goodbye. You want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. So first of all, I want to say thank you to Moby and to the whole band who were so kind to show me around and to talk to us for a while about their stuff. So thanks for that, y'all. And also thanks to Erin Stehler, who's recording this right now on the cameras and also recorded the sound and the video at the studio. And thank you to Jonathan Nesvadba, who also recorded some sound at the studio and will be editing the audio for this episode. And also thank you to Human Content, who delivers this podcast to your phones and devices. And also thank you to Bagel, who gave Moby the highlight of his tour and also is just generally the best person anyone's ever met.
I wish I had something to add to that, but I don't. So I'll see you at the end of October.
Okay, great. This is exciting.
Okay.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.